you to give me your feedback. What kind of feelings this picture makes you experience, or what you think of it. So go ahead and just tell me what you think. How does this picture make you feel? Go ahead, say it louder.
Awesome.
Awesome. What else?
Free.
Free, yeah.
Free? Anybody here afraid of heights? Okay. A lot of people have the impression that rock climbers are courageous, daring people that have a death wish, that they're crazy folk who like to engage in dangerous things. But on the contrary, rock climbing, if done correctly, is a relatively safe sport. In fact, with a little instruction and practice, almost anybody can become a climber. My goal is not to prepare you for hands-on experience, but to inform you about the basics and simplicity of the main and most common type of rock climbing, which is known as top roping. According to the National Speleological Society, a major authority on rock climbing and mountaineering, also known as the NSS, top roping is the safest and most common type of rock climbing. Let's discuss how it works. First, we'll talk about the rope, then top roping as a climber, and finally, the belayer, or the person who does the breaking. Everybody here knows what a rope is. It's quite simple. It's long and skinny, and it has two ends. For your physics majors, what happens when I pull on this end? What happens to that end? I have to go that way too, huh? Right. That's pretty basic. But what happens when I anchor this end to something else? And now I pull on. It stays, right? Pretty basic. This is the principle which you use in all types of rock climbing. Let's assume that on this end we have our rock climber. Okay? He wants to make sure that that's anchored to something. Now, let's talk about top roping, using the same principle of the rope. It's called top roping because, quite simply, it's from the top of a climb. And we have our climber right here. The same principle is in effect. He wants to go up. And when he does, this end of the rope will go down. Vice versa, if he's up and he starts to go down, it can be problematic. This end of the rope will go up. This end will go up. Top roping, as defined by John Long in his book, How to Rock Climb, is defined as belay from above, which protects a climber from falling even a short distance. In this instance, we need the anchor, but he obviously can't anchor himself to a tree or a rock or something inanimate. That's where our belayer comes in, this other person. The word belay may be foreign to some people. John Long, in that same book, defined it as the act of securing the climber by using a rope. And the belayer, this person right here, is in charge of managing the rope to safeguard the climber against a fall. He has a little device attached to him, which is called figure 8, because it's in the shape of an 8. And the rope comes from the climber up through the top, down through this. Oh, I drew it wrong, sorry. Comes through here, back around out this side. Now, in this position, it's a very lovely drawing, isn't it? The rope can move freely, and as the climber progresses upward, the slack can be pulled through. But in the instance that the climber will fall, the belayer tightens his grip on the rope and pulls it to his side. Thereby, right here, in this area, the rope is crimped. It folds against itself. And instead of all the weight resting upon the break of the belayer's hand, the weight is transferred to the figure 8 device. Therefore, the bar goes nowhere. It's based upon the same principle we saw before. We pull on this end of the rope, and this end moves. It's good sometimes when the climber moves up, he wants the slack to be removed. But when he falls, he wants a sturdy anchor. And therefore, the belayer is obviously very important. In conclusion, I'd like to refer back to the picture that we looked at before. And next time you see a climber, I want you to pay close attention and not give them any undue respect or honor or call them courageous because of the simple act that they're doing. Some of you may have been impressed with this picture because it's high up in the air. But if you pay closer attention, you'll notice that the rope is coming from below, to the top, and then right to the climber. In fact, the climber, he's not even on the rock. He's just kind of leaning on the rope, relaxing it. Anybody in the world could sit and relax on the rope. This has been a short crash course in rock climbing. And yes, it really is that simple.
you will, hovering 5 feet in the air without being heard or noticed. The helmet that you're wearing, the voice is heard in your head, the word is go. You reply back, roger that, Eagle 1 flying high. You raise your helicopter 30 feet, your digital camera and radar picks up the terrorist count. But then 2 MiGs fly past you. Crap! You say again, Eagle 1, and reply back, I have company up here, 2 MiGs. The voice in the helmet responds back. You have the go to take down any hostile encounters. A cozy feeling comes over you. You turn your chopper around and push the button that opens the retractable missile pods. 4 out of the 28 Stinger air-to-air missiles lock onto the MiGs. The MiGs are having a hard time getting a lock on you due to the stealth skin that covers the chopper. Eagle 1, fire 4. You say as the 4 Stinger missiles launches from your helicopter and towards the MiGs. 2 bright fiery flames, MiGs, fall in front of you. You then duck below the tree line and fly back to base, and the terrorist thinks that the MiGs had mechanical problems due to the black market that they bought them from. Ladies and gentlemen, the military has a new weapon to fight against terrorism and war. I present you the RA-866 Comanche helicopter. I'll first talk about a couple of things new on the helicopter, and then I'll talk about why we need the Comanche helicopter. The RA-866 Comanche helicopter will lead the military into a new millennium. The RA-866 stands for Reconnaissance Attack Helicopter. This helicopter has, as you can see, a retractable missile bay pod right here. So it closes and it opens when it needs its weapon. The missile bay pod can either hold 14 fire frigate Hellfire anti-tank missiles, or it can deploy over 56 rockets, or it can hold a 28 Stinger air-to-air missiles. As you can see here, this is a mixed load. This has a Hellfire missiles, a couple of Stinger missiles, and a couple of rocket missiles. The Comanche also has a 20 millimeter nose gun that shoots 1,500 rounds per minute. It has a radar frequency and an infrared jammer, so if if the enemy has radar or infrared, they'll just jam it. And if someone's pointing a laser at it, it'll give a pilot a warning. With this high-tech instrument and firepower the helicopter holds, the Comanche will need stealth skin for its mission, as you can see right here. When the radar hits the helicopter, the sender of the radar will not be able to pick up the helicopter. It has a buried exhaust system. That's right here. Buried exhaust system. This prevents the enemy picking up any heat signatures. It also has a special acoustic sound design, which lets the helicopter sound twice as quiet as an Apache helicopter. With the retractable missile pod and the new stealth skin, why do we really need, besides the retractable missile pods and new stealth skin, why do we need this helicopter? Well, the Comanche helicopter is going to be replacing, in the future, we'll be replacing 2 helicopters. This is the AH-1, which the Marines use. AH stands for attack helicopter, and this is the OH-56, and the OH stands for observing helicopter. This one is made to fight and attack, and this one is mainly made to observe conditions only. The Comanche is smaller, as you can tell. The Comanche is smaller than the AH-1 helicopter, Super Cobra. The Comanche cruises at 161 knots, and that's like 185 miles per hour. The AH-1 Super Cobra goes 147 knots, which is equivalent to 169 miles per hour. The Comanche has much more firepower than the OH-58 helicopter. It holds the OH-58 helicopter, as you can tell, I can't see too clear, but holds a 20 millimeter gun, just like the Comanche. But the difference is the OH shoots 750 rounds per minute, and like I said in the beginning, the Comanche shoots 1,500 rounds per minute. The OH-58 is 41 miles slower than the Comanche helicopter at cruising speed. Plus, this Comanche will cost taxpayers millions of dollars less than both these helicopters. In summary, the RH-66 helicopter will take us into the new millennium. With its stealth skin and an retractable missile pod, we will have the edge on the enemy. With the helicopter replacing 2 military choppers, we will be saving men, space, and money. When you leave here today, I hope you will be able to feel safer knowing the Comanche is on guard.
Yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Susan, the plans they made wouldn't end it too. Woke up this morning, and I wrote down this song, but I can't remember who to send it to. Oh, I seen fire and I seen rain. I seen sunny days that I thought would never end. Lonely times when I could not find a friend, but I always thought that I'd see you again. The guitar, to me, is more than the sum of its parts. It is not just a little wooden concoction. And I think that for some of you, it might be the same. Maybe you have memories of campfires and sitting around with your friends as they played songs for you, or perhaps your parents strummed their way through your youth. Maybe it's just that high school dance and your favorite song, that special song. I'd like to tell you a bit of the history, the anatomy, and the versatility of guitar, because it is a thing that spans cultures, age groups, and social classes. The guitar has a very long and interesting history. In fact, guitar-like instruments have existed since ancient times. As stated in Encarta Encyclopedia, the first written mention of the guitar proper is from the 14th century. After some structural changes, the guitar became very popular in the 16th and 17th centuries. And popular composers such as Beethoven and Bach produced many works on the guitar. In the 1800s, and the late 1800s, early 1900s is when the guitar got its modern shape. According to the Britannica Encyclopedia, in the mid-18th century, the guitar attained its modern form. The double courses were made single, and a sixth string was added above the lower five. In the 1900s, the body of the guitar was widened, and it was made a little bit thinner this way, and the neck of the guitar was elongated. In the 1900s, we saw the birth of many different types of guitars. So I've got an acoustic guitar right here. There's also electric guitars, which I'm sure you're familiar with, half electric, half acoustic, steel guitars or Hawaiian guitars, and so on. The guitar, even though it's evolved over hundreds of years, is a beautifully simple thing. It's almost human, in fact. It's got a head right here, and the body. It's got curves and a long neck. But that's where the humanity ends. It's got this hole right here in its body, and that's the sound hole where the sound can resonate. And on the head, it's got these pins that loosen or tighten the strings and change the pitch. On its neck, you have a fingerboard. Along the fingerboard, you might notice these little metal things. They're called frets. And they're just a little bit higher than the actual fingerboard. When you press down in between the two frets, it makes a point of tension and changes the pitch of the string. Like I said, the guitar is a beautifully simplistic thing. Doesn't take a genius to figure out how it works. But the appeal of the guitar is its versatility. Ralph Denyer said in his book, The Guitar Handbook, one of the guitar's greatest appeals is its versatility. It is an instrument of 1,000 faces. For example, on a guitar, you can play classical music. Also, rock music wouldn't be rock music without a guitar. Easy listening. This is my favorite. I can see clearly now the pain is gone. And
Pour that little bit of cowboy in all of us. Okay, enough of that. The guitar, like I said, is a beautiful and simplistic thing because of its simplicity and its versatility. It is used in hundreds of countries and in thousands of styles of music. To me, like I said, it's more than the sum of its parts. It's not just a simple wooden instrument. It, to me, is my wooden friend.